In today's video, what we're going to be doing is disassembling the Xbox Series S. You'll need to turn your console over to the back and you'll see two sticker adhesives, one on the lower left of the case and the other on the lower right. You're going to need to remove these to reveal two Torx 9 screws underneath. A T9 fits perfect on these two screws. And on the bottom, once those two screws are off, this should just slide forward, just like so. Then you can lay the bottom to the side. You can see these are color coded, and the green ones should come off next. They are also a T9. The green ones hold on the top of the case. And there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 green screws. We have 2 more. That is the 7th screw. So the top should now come off. A good way is just to pull these back 2 plastic pieces to the side a little bit and push down, and that should take this front cover off, and then you can lay it out of the way. And you'll have some daughter boards on the side. These need to come off. Again, this is all T9. These are 3 screws over here on this side. And once these controller boards come out, you just you can wiggle it gently like this and then pull toward you at the same time. You want it to pull, you want it to come unplugged from these pins right here. And you can set these boards to the side so that you won't lose them. Now I'm going to do this board to the right. It has one T9 bolt. Again, I'm just going to wiggle it a little bit and pull it toward me. Comes right off. I'll set that to the side. Here's the one on the side of the case. Again, these are all T9. It's a very compact design. I kind of like the design because you can take this console with you. It's portable. Of course, it is a lot more less. Of course, it has a lot more less power for games as compared to its big brother, the Series X. But this is good enough for a lot of people. Take that last bolt out of there. And then again, you just kind of wiggle and pull forward. You can see there's the connector. There's where it connects to the motherboard on the inside. You'll see that this is the top of the console. That's what the front looks like. And I'm gonna turn it on its bottom. On its bottom, you'll see there are some silver T9 screws. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, it looks like 9. And then there are going to be these 4 smaller black ones that goes to the processor. Again, most of these are silver. They may have a light yellow tint to them. On the bottom here, it says this was made June the 23rd of 2022. It's a little over a year old, as it is September of 2023 at the time of this recording. I'm going to see if the top of this case does in fact come off now. Looks like it's going to, you just pull it up a little bit and it's going to pull on off of there. And as you can see, here is the fan. It's a pretty big fan. I don't know if it's 80 millimeter or what, but we'll check that out. Here's the power supply. And I'm going to see how to take this off. This just lifts up and lift it up easy because you'll see it is plugged into the motherboard, and you'll want to be careful to kind of wiggle it back and forth because you don't want the connector that's on the motherboard to pull off. And it's relatively easy and just comes off like that. You want to inspect it to make sure that there's no dirt or dust. A lot of them there will be. This is the heat sink. This is a pretty big heat sink. Let's see how the power supply comes out. I'm going to lift it straight up. And that's all I had to do was lift straight up. And you can see there is a thermal conductor right here. And it sits on top of the proprietary memory card slot. So when the power supply goes down, it sits right on top of that. Just like that. See, here's the heat sink. And here's where the power supply just pushes down on there, and it just sits here. It's a very compact design, a very good design. There's no wasted space inside of this case. Now, if you want to take the lid off, that's how you do that. I'm suspecting there's those 4 black screws that are by the X on the bottom of the case. I believe I'm going to have to take those off in order to remove the motherboard. And in this case, I'm examining the HDMI port on this Series S. But anyways, if you see any dirt, you can clean it with a compressed air, an unused toothbrush, and at least 90% isopropyl alcohol. So I'm gonna see if this board will remove. There will be this USB. This front piece just pulls forward a little bit right there, I recommend. Not too much, and then just pull up. And that little metal tab is right there. And you just set that to the side. And then it should look kind of like that. It should look like this right here. I'm going to have to remove these 4 screws, and they are also T9. And I believe once these are removed, the motherboard will just come right on out of there. And there are 4 of them. Again, you may want to, if you think you're going to forget where any of the screws go, there are diagrams online that I will give links to. It shows you where they go. And also, you may want to take pictures if you want to do that. Or when you take apart your console, stack the screws in an order that they came off. That way it may be easier for you to put back together. And remember, once you get the console fixed, be careful with it and take care of it. Okay, now these 4 screws are off. I'm going to turn this back over, and what I'm going to do to take this out, I'm just going to lift on the heat sink. I'm going to push this to the side and lift up. And then you will see underneath here that here is the conductive layers underneath the motherboard that conducts heat. It disperses heat out. So we're going to move the bottom of the case out of the way. And then we have the motherboard. And this is what the motherboard looks like from the back view. And the heatsink is pretty massive, as they don't want any thermal failures, no overheating. And on the bottom, this is the X clamp that's famous, and the Xbox family been known to have those for years. Here's the 500 megabyte SSD drive. And yes, that thermal conductor is conducted to the case on the bottom of the Xbox Series S, so that this little 512 SSD drive does not overheat. So that's what it looks like. It's kind of what it looks like on the front. We have that USB. Let's look at it. And that is how you do a disassembly and teardown of the Xbox Series S.